basically, I think we start with director Trevor and Eve Mungai. They have split up. They've been split up for quite a bit now. I think it's going on to almost a month, maybe. Okay, maybe I'm jumping. It's like, let's call it between 2 weeks to a month, right? It's been happening. We've all spoken about it. We've seen her launch her new YouTube channel and getting over 100,000 subscribers in like a matter of weeks, days even. And Trevor still holding on to the old account that he used to have with Eve Mungai, changing his name, all of that. However, we were all curious about how this relationship ended, and obviously all of us were kind of waiting for like a dramatic story about why this relationship ended, if at all. Who was the person that caused the relationship to end? But on an interview where director Trevor was actually involved, he said that there is no dramatic story about how the breakup happened. It just was like any other relationship where the two of them had, been having a struggle with their relationship. They were having a kind of like a situation where they're like, you're not sure you want to be in this relationship anymore. They took a bit of a break in between, like there was some space that was given to each person. And then they really just discovered during this break that, you know what, it's not worth it. It's not going to work out anymore. So they went their separate ways. However, in addition to that, he does say that they do have they're giving a lot of credit and a lot of thanks to their mentors who have not been mentioned, who apparently had previously engaged them in the conversation about relationships and how is it going to work out once it ends. And according to him, he actually said we had mentors. Yeah, he says we had mentors na walikuwa wana prepare for such things. That's why leo hii people think tuliachana na sasa kuna moja. People think because tuliachana there's one person who did a bad thing and that's why ilienda vibaya. That's not the case. Tuliachana kama mapenzi imeisha, na pia in terms ya business kila mtu alikuwa na shughuli yake, right? Like the business, everybody had their part and everybody was entitled to what they were supposed to get. Now ultimately people are like, by the way, the business was the story. We heard that there was a 50-50 split between how the business was supposed to go. If y'all broke up or at an event where you were no longer together, it was supposed to go middle way, 50-50. Everybody gets their chunk of change. And he says actually he didn't have any issue with this. The only problems that emerged were because Eve Mungai was the face of the show, she started demanding, or she started saying that she is entitled to a bit more. She wants more than the 50%, right? Which obviously brought a disgruntlement. And he's like, there's no way. And apparently because Instagram was the biggest income earner, or they were more popular on Instagram, and she was the face on Instagram, she insisted that she needed a lot more. It got to a point in the conversation where she actually said, let me buy you out. Let me buy you out of the business. Just leave the business to me. But Trevor is like, how are you going to buy me out of a business that earns us 2 million apparently every month, which is quite a huge sum of money. So obviously, yeah, if you start to think about it from those terms, if a business is already giving you money, whether or not you put new videos, it's already giving you 2 million views, like 2 million Kenya shillings. And obviously we all remember it's about the people watching, it's about the watch time, it's about the number of watch hours you accumulate or watch time you accumulate that gives you the money. It's not about whether or not you have a new channel, you have 1,001 subscribers. Like, it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have, it's the watch time that is actually valid. You could have 10 subscribers, but you have 1 million hours of watch time, and obviously you're going to be earning quite a sum of money. So it's just like, there's no way she could be able to afford paying me that amount of money, or at least what I would imagine it would be worth, and therefore he never was okay with that decision, and that's why it became like a whole thing. I personally feel like, yeah, that's probably the reason why the relationship ended, because unfortunately when you start out, we all start out with good intentions. We're like 50-50 is fine, but then you start to realize that, why am I doing a lot of the carrying of this weight, and the other person is not doing as much, and I'm not getting that extra sum of money, which I feel like is another conversation we need to have with regard to, like, if the situation changes and I feel like I am owed more, let's also add it in this contract such that if I feel like I am working a little bit more, this is how much I'm entitled to earn in addition to the 50%, or when we renegotiate, we'll be renegotiating from this amount. But obviously everyone wants the money. That's the reality of things. If you're earning 2 million shillings and we go 50-50, I'm getting 1 million, you're getting 1 million. If I'm earning sorry, if we have 60-40, it's a different split. If it's 70-30, it's a different split. So obviously less money for one person, and they have worked hard for them to get you to where you are. Everyone's impact is felt. So it's usually very tricky when it comes to money in any relationship, be it financial, romantic, friendship. Otherwise, it just becomes really tricky if you don't have very clear lines and boundaries. It just becomes very, very tricky to deal with money, unless one person is just like, okay, it's fine. Yeah, you just do what you want, let's just keep the business pushing. Unless one person compromises, and because you don't have clear stipulations of what happens, it just becomes really tricky, and that then trickles into other things. I'm assuming in their relationship that's what happened. You have this one issue, then other things start to pop up. You're like, but like, I also do this, I also do that. It becomes like small things, they add up, it becomes an issue, they end up breaking up. So I guess for the right reasons, they're both doing well in their own capacities, so let's wait and see what the rest of the year holds. But yeah, every time, and I say it here on the show many times, every time one person is like, no, we split up amicably, there's a story to be told. What we're doing is waiting for the story to be told.
I feel like that's a common situation when it comes to like partnerships or groups that got into business together. And it's not just them. We've seen Salama and Khaled. You know, sometimes one person becomes too big for the group, and that is okay. It's okay for you to grow individually. Nobody is stopping you. And maybe the person who's growing at a faster pace than the other person might feel like, hey, you're kind of holding me back.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I'm dragging you along. I feel like you're not putting in your weight. The solution for this is, as one person is growing, make sure the other person is also growing. You guys need to grow at the same pace.
Or make adjustments as you move.
Exactly, make adjustments as you move. Jay-Z and Beyonce, these people they're both superstars in the house. But now imagine if there was, you know, a contrast in their earning income, in what they're bringing home, in one person is way richer than the other. That would have been the problem. We would have seen them split up kitambo, wapatie TMZ their stories, messy divorce, nasty and everything. But because you guys are always moving together, when one person is elevated, the other person is also working hard and elevating themselves, then you're like, oh, you see, I don't feel like you're dragging me down. I feel like we're actually bringing each other up. Same thing, Salama and Khaled, this Dubai YouTubers.
Yeah.
I started seeing them from Kitamo, and they started with just their Instagram, with just the husband doing prank videos on his wife, and then they built the brand. It became a international brand. They're now working in US. There's a time even at Arch Cafe we saw Salama,
yeah,
and she was just so cute. As in, these people have grown so big, and then one person became too big for the group. Like Salama was like, I now have a makeup brand, you know, I'm doing good. You're also a YouTuber, and now here she is talking about how she was traumatized from the whole relationship. We also, as in, many people grew differently.
Yeah.
Sauti Sol, did Bien not become too big for the group?
He did.
He became too big for the group, and now he's pursuing his career individually, and the rest are actually trying to pursue their own careers individually. We have Savara, who's gongaing shows after shows. Right now, I think he's on his American tour, and everything is sold out. So if things are not working out, just part ways. But he constantly talking about it. Has Mungai even talked about this story?
Nope.
She's not mentioned anything, but any opportunity he gets, he's on a blogger, he's on a podcast talking about this girl and trying to make it seem like everything is okay. If everything was okay, you would be quiet. That's all I'm saying, Trevor. You're speaking too much.